Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Tekking with a Swivel Chair. Now in HD. I don't know if this is in HD. YouTube's been weird with that. I don't think 720p is considered HD anymore. Anyway, I'm still here. Actually, as you're watching this video, I should be on my way back home, but this week has had plenty of surprises, so I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case. But anyway, what do you want to talk about today, Larry? Let's just keep it simple, something topical, probably relating to the last chapter. Tobi Roppo. Let's talk about the Tobi Roppo. Good, solid Tobi Roppo video. Are they finished? Are they down and out for good? Many people are like, yeah, they're done. The Straw Hats defeated all of them. The Straw Hats are strong, Matt. Like, what do you want? Do you want, like, 15 chapters for each Tobi Roppo? Well, maybe not 15, maybe like 10. Okay, that's too much, you know? But then again, I'm the kind of guy that really wants, like, a lot when it comes to, like, a story, you know? Like, Hunter x Hunter has all those, like, you know, dialogue and inner monologues that are like a light novel, basically. I love that kind of stuff when it comes to a manga. But yeah, maybe not, like, really long fights, but I was expecting the Tobi Roppo to stick around a little bit longer than this. Basically, what Oda did here was he separated all the different Straw Hats to have their individual fights, and he's sort of like let's take the Sasaki and Franky fight, for instance. We kind of cut back to Sasaki fighting Franky every so often, every few chapters. Like, the chapter would focus on something else, but then we cut over to see Franky blasting, you know, Sasaki with a bunch of bombs or something, and Sasaki as a Triceratops would just, you know, rampage right through it, and Franky's like, man, this guy's pretty hard. Super, and then like it hits him or whatever. And then finally we get the proper chapter with Sasaki fighting Franky, like the whole chapter, that's what it is. We got 2 chapters with Who's Who and Jinbe, and 2 chapters, maybe a little bit more than that, like 2.5 chapters maybe with Robin and Black Maria. Ulti and Page One was the one. Let's talk about them first, okay? Because it was set up that Ulti and Page One were basically going to have a tag battle against Usopp and Nami. And, you know, I think I even made a video about that or something where I talked about it, where it would be really cool if, I don't know, Nami charges up a Thunderbolt or something, and then Usopp fires, like, I don't know, a Pop Green that could turn into, like, an impromptu lightning rod, because Pop Greens can pretty much turn into whatever. And it's like, it's a giant lightning rod on top of Ulti, and just boom, and, like, lightning strikes and whatever. Like, that would be really cool to see them, like, play off each other. And we cut back to the fight, and they were kind of like already handily defeated. Like, it was very clear that Ulti and Page One working together were way stronger, you know, physically than Nami and Usopp working together, which felt really like, oh man, we didn't even really get to see much of the fight. Now, granted, that's kind of what the anime is for, right? And the anime has definitely expanded on a lot of stuff in the last few episodes. You know, we'll probably get a full-fledged, like, battle between Nami and Usopp and then Ulti and Page One, like, happening right there. And we'll see what leads up to that moment where they're both on the ground and Ulti, you know, picks up Nami and kind of has her dead to rights and everything like that. Then Tama shows up, okay, and it's like, okay, so they're gonna run away with Otama and they're gonna kind of recover their strength a bit, maybe get some of the gifters to help them out, and then we're going to get Nami and Usopp fighting Page One and Ulti, you know, properly, okay. Then Big Mom stomps in. Then Big Mom stomps in, because it's Big Mom, so you gotta have that. And she's just like, mama, mama, you know, and then, you know, the whole thing happens where Ulti, you know, says something bad about Otama, and then Big Mom is like, how dare you say that about my friend, and then she maser cannon lasers her right in the chest, and she goes down, and it's like, okay. And at the same time that's going on, oh yeah, she also punches Page One out, just BAM! Punches him into the ground. We haven't seen anything involving Page One since then, so yeah, he's probably gone. And yes, at the end of the battle, Ulti did recover, and that really showed the endurance of the Ancient Zones, which is, by the way, the whole reason I'm sitting here thinking that the Tobi Roppo are not truly down yet. Even in the last chapter, when the narrator came on and said, the Tobi Roppo are done, they're down and out, they have been brutally defeated. Even then, I'm like, I don't know, because that's the whole premise of, like, Ulti has enough endurance and has a strong enough healing factor as an Ancient Zone to recover from a point-blank laser attack from all 3 of Big Mom's homies, one of Big Mom's strongest techniques, probably not her absolute strongest, but one of her strongest, right? You know, using Hera and Prometheus and Napoleon all together, and Ulti's able to get up from that. Now, yes, she was severely weakened. It wasn't like she just got up like nothing happened. And then she showed up, and then Nami and Zeus used their tag team attack to, like, just lightning bolt Ulti, and then Ulti's down. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that works. You know, Ulti got lightning struck by Nami. You've been thunderstruck! So she's down. okay, but we didn't really get to see a full-fledged battle with Nami and Usopp. That's the thing, like, we just kind of kept cutting back and forth, Usopp firing pop greens at page 1, like, it's not working! And Nami's shooting lightning bolt, either ulti's either dodging them or getting hit, and it's not doing anything. And so we finally get that moment where she just, works with Zeus and electrocutes ulti. So I'm hoping that at least in the anime, the fight between Page One and Ulti, I hope that's expanded a little bit more so we can see more of it, okay? Are they down for good? I guess what we'll do here is we'll talk about the battles, like the individual fights, and then we'll talk about if it's possible for them to recover, okay? So, the situation with Page One is he took a point-blank Conqueror's Hockey Ryuo punch, BAM! From Big Mom, one of the Yonko. And Page One, like, I don't want to say anything bad about Page One, but he probably is the weakest of the Toby Ropo. He is the youngest, and just from the way that it was played out, like, he was the first one. Well, Drake was also introduced, but we already knew about Drake. So Drake and Page One were the first ones to be introduced as part of the Toby Ropo during Wano. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously Oda's showing Drake, because we already know he's here. But Page One's a brand new character at this point, and it would make sense to introduce the weakest of the Toby Ropo first. And from what we've understood, he probably is. We've also seen a lot of Page One. Like, we didn't see much of the fight there, but we got to see the fight between him and Sanji back at, like, Ebisu Town or in the Flower Capital, right? So we got to at least see that much with him. So if any of them are going to be down permanently, I would say Page One and Ulti. Ulti, not just because she took the Mazer Cannon, but she also took the Lightning Strike from Nami. So that's like double attack damage. If they both were going to stay down for the rest of this fight, that would, I would think that would make sense. Also, it's funny if Page One managed to get back up. That would be funny if after all of them, like all 5 of them stay down, Drake obviously defected, so all 4 of them stay down, but then Page One is the one to stand back up, and he's like, holy crap, I survived. Oh my god, what would happen if, like, everybody in Onigashima got wiped out. Kaido was defeated at this point, all of the gifters, and it's Page One who just gets up out of the rubble, and he's like, oh man, I have a pounding headache, and he just looks around, he's like, oh, I should get out of here. And he, like, a little moment, like the angel and the devil appear on his shoulders, and he's just like, hey, you should go look for your sister. What about Ulti? She might be dead. And he's like, yeah, I should go look for your sister. And the other one's just like, no, just get out of here. Just escape. And he's like, okay. And then he just leaves. He just leaves. He gets out of there. And he's just out there sailing the seas on his own as a dino pirate. Okay, so that's them. Let's talk about Sasaki next. Let's talk about Sasaki and Franky, okay? Because there's a few things I want to unpack with this one. Okay. So, it was a cool fight. It was a very super fight, if I were to say so myself. Absolutely, I love Franky. He's my favorite character. He's my favorite Straw Hat, okay? The way he defeated Sasaki, though, in my opinion, I feel it was a cool finishing move, but I feel like there should have been more to it than that. It was a very brutal fight where Sasaki was pretty much wrecking and stomping through the Franky Shogun the entire time. It got to the point where Franky actually had to eject out of the Shogun and launch a radical beam. And yes, it was explained that Sasaki does have a weak area. His underbelly is kind of his weak area. Ironically, when he turns into his hybrid Triceratops, he's standing on 2 feet, and he is exposing his weak area right there. So that's kind of stupid. And, Franky already did the victory V-slash with his sword. So Franken was destroyed. The Franky Shogun was destroyed. Don't worry too much about that, though. I'm sure Franky can rebuild. Whether he rebuilds Battle Franky Model 38, or he makes 39, or whatever, I think it'll be okay. But the point is, he had to basically have his, Megazord be destroyed for him to get the opportunity to fire a radical beam. Now, if he fired a beam, it went right through Sasaki's stomach, right out his other end, and then it, boom, no, that came out wrong. But it shot a laser right through him, boom, and it explodes, and Sasaki hits the ground, and he's bleeding. Now, I just bring this up because of the Mazer Cannon situation. Because very similar, where a laser was fired directly, and you can't go by that, you really can't. You can't just say, wow, that laser punched a hole right through that character is so dead. You can't go by that, we're going by, like, Bleach rules, like when Tsukishima got Senbone Sakura right in the heart, and he was still able to walk around for, like, 10 minutes afterwards, right? You can't go by that. That kind of crap happens all the time. That happens every time Luffy uses Red Hawk. Red Hawk, boom, he just, like, explodes their guts, and it just goes out the other side, and just like, oh, that burned me a bit. I'm back in the fight now, Straw Hat, you know? So you can't go by that. So that's what I mean, though. That's what I mean. We've seen that happen so many times before in One Piece where some attack will hit the character and it goes, you know, out like went straight through them, and yet they're going to be okay. Not okay, but they'll be still able to fight afterwards. And the other thing about Sasaki is that it was established that he had a backstory with Denjiro back when he was Kyoshiro, back when he was still the head of the Yakuza. It was implied they would hang out. They were like drinking buddies. They would hang out every Saturday night, drink some sake, play some cards. Like they were buds. They were like bar buddies or whatever, right? And of course, Denjiro used that to his advantage when they were raiding Onigashima. Come over here to this tree, and then he ties him up. And then after Sasaki gets loose, one of the first things he wants to do is like, I'm gonna find that Kyoshiro, Denjiro, whoever he was, and I'm gonna, that son of a, everything he did, it was all a lie, right? And Denjiro, we still haven't seen his fight. Last chapter, we saw him just heading off to another location. What's up with Denjiro? I don't know. If Page One gets back up, it would be hilarious. It would be funny. But if I had to choose any member of the Toby Ropo to get back up and continue the story, I would pick Sasaki. I would pick Sasaki. I want Sasaki to get back up and be like, oh man, that stupid robot, he blasted a laser right through my stomach, and he's kind of like woozy, but he can still fight. And then Denjiro runs into him. And then we get a Denjiro flying helicopter Triceratops fight. Come on, Oda! You set up the Triceratops, that's also a helicopter. You set that up. You can still do stuff with that. Oda's like, man, I still want to draw that. I still want to draw Sasaki. He's just so much fun. Out of all of the Tobi Roppo, I would say Sasaki's just, like, his design and his abilities are so weird or so out there that they're the most fun for Oda to draw. So draw them again. Why not? I want to see that. But yeah, that's Sasaki. Not saying a radical beam to the stomach couldn't bring him down, and Franky's really strong, of course. He's a powerhouse, but I feel like from what we've seen before, Sasaki should be able to recover from this given enough time to heal, okay? Let's talk about Who's Who next. Okay, so Who's Who had his skull caved in by Jinbe, pretty much. We saw him in the last chapter. He's lying on the ground, and he's still wearing his mask, but his mask is, like, cracked right here, right in his forehead, and then you see, like, a dent. Like, Jinbe really just, slammed into him there. So their fight also had the thing where they cut around every now and then. We saw them fighting, but it also had, like, two really good solid chapters where we got to see them fight, and a big lore bomb was dropped at the same time involving the Gumu Gumu no Mi and Who's Who being a previous member of the Cypher Pole 9, so there was a lot of stuff that was revealed there. And then of course, the things that, Who's Who was calling Jinbe, which made it all the more, rectifying when Jinbe just bam punched him square in the face with Demon Brick Fist. That was cool. Demon Breakfast. It was cool. It was cool. See, here's the thing, like, Who's Who was set up now as like, hey, he's a former member of CP9. He's a really, really adept assassin. He's got all these advanced Rokushiki techniques. This guy can fight, and he's connected with the backstory of the Gumu Gumu no Mi, which is the devil fruit of the main character. And he has all this cool backstory. Bam! Okay, he's down. We're not going to see him again. Also, the sun god, Nika, that's something else, too, that he established. Basically, was Who's Who's only job to show up and be like, all right, Jinbe, I'm going to start kicking ass with my entourage of cat people. By the way, we have not seen a lot of the cat people. I wanted to see more of what, Who's Who little clique could do. But he's like, no, Jinbe, I'm here to kick your ass and drop a bunch of exposition. And I'm all out of ass. So I guess I'm dropping exposition, right? Was that Who's Who's only purpose? Was that the only reason he was around? Okay, I guess. I mean, we learned a lot from him. I want him to wake back up. No, wake back up and tell us more about how did you join Cypherpole? What was up with the Gumu Gumu no Mi, right? I don't know. But yeah, if he's down for the count, I guess, yeah, he did get a pretty solid 2 chapters fighting Jinbe. And Jinbe, I mean, former warlord, really strong character, also now a member of the Straw Hats. It can be debated, if the monster trio is still Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy, or if it's, Jinbe, Zoro, and Luffy, or if it's, how that would go down. Man, I would like to see just a little chapter, because, they do call themselves, like, the Monster Trio in the series, right? It would be funny if after the Straw Hats leave Wano, they're sailing away and they're celebrating Jinbe joining the crew. Maybe Carrot. And anyway, they're sailing away, and they're like, hey, Sanji goes up to Jinbe, he's like, hey, so you know, are we still the monster trio or are we like the monster like quartet? Like, how's this gonna work? And Jinbe and Sanji have a little bit of a sparring match to prove who's stronger. Nothing serious, but like just to prove who's stronger. And that would be a cool little interlude into the next arc. You know, I don't think Oda would do it because that doesn't really seem to be in his sort of thing. But if he did, that would be very interesting. But yeah, I think who's down. And then finally, because Drake is still, you know, rampaging around as an Allosaurus, and you know he's defected. He's a member of Sword, of course. He's a Marine, so he's still around. We haven't actually seen his direct fight yet. I thought it was going to be Hawkins. It still could be, but we don't know what he's up to. He's still on the live stage. Let's talk about Black Maria then to finish it off. Okay, so Black Maria, I think Black Maria, I think she had everything that she needed to do. But yeah, we had some good chapters with Black Maria there. Probably her moment with Sanji was, you know, really important, followed up by the fight with Robin, of course. Her personality wasn't as interesting as like Who's Who or Sasaki. It seemed to be just like, oh, her thing is she's very cruel. She's very, well, she's seductive, of course, because she's the Oiron that runs the brothel and everything. And she's, you know, into some rough stuff with the knuckle dusters. And she enjoys, like, you know, pounding an enemy into dust and in blood and everything like that. We got that from her. We got that very, very clearly. But beyond that, not as interesting in terms of lore that we're going to get from Who's Who. And it's not like she had, like, a connection to one of the scabbards, you know, like Sasaki did with Denjiro. So I think we're done with Black Maria. Also the scene where, you know, she just keeps, you know, constantly berating Robin, like takes out her knuckle duster. You're a detriment to your crew. You're just a burden. You're nothing. You're just a demon. You're a devil. And then Robin's like, okay, you want to see a devil? Here's a devil, right? And so I think at that point, yeah, Black Maria's, you know, down for the count there with her back and neck broken, essentially. So that's the Tobi Roppo right there. Out of all of them, I could still see Sasaki getting back up and maybe Page One. That's funny. Going into this video, I was like, man, they should all get back up. But now that I actually started to think about it, no. Who's Who, I mean, it would be cool to see Who's Who use more Rokushiki techniques, but beyond that, I mean, Rob Lucci and the rest of Cypher Pool 9, they're still around. So yeah, basically what it boils down to is Page One to survive, and I want Sasaki to fight Denjiro. And also Drake to do something too. I don't even know what's up with him, but yeah, whatever. Here's a question, though, I'll leave you with. No ant facts today, but I'll leave you with this. And I brought this up before. Drake's pirate crew, did they know that he was part of Sword when they joined up with him? Are they like his former Marine crew? Did he fill them in on everything? Because I'm assuming what Drake did was he might have actually done it too. It might have not just pretend. He might have actually killed a superior officer, like a rear admiral or a vice admiral or something, and that's why he was branded a traitor and he left. And maybe his crew, some of them mutinied and left, and he's like, you killed a vice admiral, we're out of here. But maybe some of them were like, I know why you had to do it, Captain Drake. You know, we'll follow you no matter what, you know. And so maybe that's how his pirate crew started. Or maybe he just killed the Vice Admiral, then, you know, got out of there on his own. But he couldn't have, because his ship, the Liberal Hind, that's what it's called, the Liberal Hind, is his Marine ship that he just repainted. So either his Marine crew had to come with him, or they left, or maybe that was also part of his undercover operation. He killed his whole crew. He was like, yo, you killed your entire crew, Diaz Drake, you know, but he had to do that in order to go undercover for Sword, because that's the kind of stuff it requires, right? I'm not really sure if he would have gone that far, but I'm curious whether or not, even if they're not his original Marine crew, even if it's just like he defected and then created a pirate crew afterwards, are his pirate crew aware that he is a member of Sword? Because I feel like they should know, like, because he has a pirate crew just like everybody else. He has a first mate, he has a cook, he has a navigator. We just don't explore it that much, but he has it. You know, that's a pirate crew. You need to have a first mate and everything to keep it working, right? So that's a question I'll leave you with. And who's Drake going to fight in this battle? Because he's still on the live stage. You know, Sanji's fighting Queen, Zoro's now fighting King, Killer's fighting Hawkins. You know, so there's really not a lot of opportunities there unless, you know, Drake shows up to help. Hey, Killer, need help fighting this guy? He's like, all right, sure. He's like, maybe. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to get back to regular content in my office, you know, my normal office with the bed and everything soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Say bye to Larry. This might be the last video he's in. I don't know if he's going to come back with me to Pennsylvania. Haven't decided yet. Say bye, Larry. Okay. Bye, everyone.